Okay guys, this is day 2 of the wrap up of Axpona, and lots of stuff happened today. I have just been up since, started uploading videos at 8:30 this morning, a full hour and a half before the show started. So first of all, I want to give props to the Wilson Banish room that I went into. First video of today. A few things about that room. Not only did we pass that room, we were actually going to go to that Tiger Fox demo, which was open early hours. But we heard somebody playing real music, pretty loud, and he was open. And to be open at that hour, playing cool music, and he said, I'm just playing stuff I like. So kudos to his room. And I think it was a distributor. So watch my video. I can't remember offhand, and I don't want to say the wrong name of which room that was. But in any case, that was kudos. And quite frankly, man, I was listening in that room. I was like, man, these are awesome bookshelf speakers. These are probably the best bookshelf speakers I ever heard. And then I asked the price, and he's like 31,000. I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. And it pretty much made me think, oh my God, how are they getting 31,000 for a bookshelf? Because usually a lot of the price goes into cabinet construction. But that isobaric bass thing is no joke. I mean, that may look like a gimmick, and somebody might have mentioned that in the comments if I recall. But I've heard their big bass modules, and you'll actually see the back of the driver mounted on the baffle because they have, this isobaric bass is legit, and it really sounds great with their big Wilson Banish, and it translated really well to these bookshelves. And if I'm not thinking about the price, and then you tell me what is the best bookshelf speaker out there, I think the first one that's going to pop to my mind right now is that Wilson Banish right now. I can't offhand think of one that's better that I've heard, or clearly better. Maybe there is, but man, that's a good, it's not a bookshelf in the traditional sense. You are getting full range performance. So if you're looking for full range performance in a small form factor, and you can always add a sub if you wanted to, but man, that was a very impressive room. And I remember the stands in that room being very, very good and impressive. So thumbs up to that room on multiple fronts. And really, when I give reviews of rooms, I'm not just judging the gear or the name or the looks, and even the sound, because I discount things that, look, all of these rooms, as I said in my preview video, are not optimal, especially the smaller hotel rooms. It's about who manages it the best. And not only managing it the best, who plays the right music that resonates with me. I'm obviously going to be biased to stuff that I like. So again, you have to discount, and that's why you should go to these shows yourself and use your own opinions, because some, and that's why I present other people's views, like my friends, because some of the stuff they like, I'm not as big a fan of, and vice versa. I like to give you as many opinions as possible and not say that my way is the only way. And you kind of know where I stand with open baffle and certain things that I like, DSP and all that. But it doesn't have to be my way. But if you ask my opinion, that's what I'm gonna give you. And so the other things I factor in, the right track, room treatment, how they mated the speakers to whatever environment they were given. And one thing that popped up today is a macro feedback sharing kind of review of the entire show and all these vendors, is that another thing I grade them on is, do they play a track at the right volume? That is just as important as mating the speaker to your room and all the other things involved, because you play a track at the wrong volume, it gets very annoying. A lot of people can't get in that sweet spot where it is even somewhat more acceptable. If you're right directly in front of a speaker at super loud volumes, it can be very annoying. And today there were quite a few rooms that were playing good music tracks, but they were playing them at the wrong volume, much too high. And even my mic and camera, which by the way, I'm missing my camera right now. I left it at the restaurant tonight. The meal and thanks to Charles Kiermoose, he invited us out to dinner tonight. So thanks, Charles. But I think the drinks were too good because I ended up forgetting my mic there. I'll have to go get it tomorrow on my gimbal. So in any case, but that was one of the key takeaways is my mic has a little green light. If it detects clipping, it hits red. And far too many rooms, good songs were being played way too loud. I will give props to the rooms that played Dave Husto's recording that we brought along on the USB stick, where he was present, and we very familiar with that track. In fact, the Alta Audio room with the Infigo amps, really impressive. They impressed me down in Florida, and nothing dissuaded me from that opinion. I think those electronics are really good. They're pricey, very attractive, great sound, and performed really well with this set of speakers. Now, the only thing I would say about the Alta speakers, beautiful tonal balance, beautiful detail, beautiful everything. But like I've always said, for my preference, these point source box speakers, everything was 2/3 and below down in terms of the presentation. And so for my taste, not optimal, but everything that was down there, I would say if I had to pick a speaker that performed the best in all other metrics today, it was that speaker in that room with that only one nicks in the performance. Very good with Dave's recording. I really like that. And also the Akora room played Dave's track. Now to be honest with you, they did play it a little too loud, and Dave even asked them to turn it down, and they did turn it down. So it's not their fault. It's hard for them to gauge volume in front of the speakers when they're walking around and on the side. So kudos to Akora for offering to play it, and it did a wonderful job. Again, this is multiple times now where Akora is doing it in a big room, very impressive, and the associated gear. That's a speaker that deserves the praise that it's getting, and the design, innovative. So Akora, thumbs up to them today. The Estalon, I was first time hearing the real big Forzas. I'm sticking right now to the $1 rooms. And that with the harp player, the same harp player we lucked into seeing in another room yesterday. Then we saw her today. Great. In fact, those big Forzas today, I think they were sold. My friend Steve, I think, bought a pair after hearing them. He's got those smaller ones, and he also has MBL Extremes. He also has Burmester. This guy's got a little bit of everything. Great guy, though. But I think he bought the Forzas today. So he trumped Carl yesterday buying a book at the thing. As far as my friends, what did they buy? In terms of other mega dollar rooms, many of them suffered. That's the ones I'm talking about most, playing way too loud. And I wasn't super impressed by any of the mega dollar rooms. If I had to pick a favorite, otherwise, it probably would have been the Wilson Audio, the big ones. I think it was at the Alex V. I'm sorry, with the audio research. Things are a blur today after so many rooms I uploaded and saw. But that room I remember being happy with. The bass did get a little bit crispy at one point. I was really high on it at one point, and then you hear something, and then you just kind of a little bit. And that's, again, you have to judge my feedback based on what song I heard at the time. You know, and so there's a lot of factors that go into this. So talking about that, let's talk about what I'm probably most known at the show, because a lot of people have come up to me, oh, thanks for telling me about the Ari Sarot room, because I brought attention to that the first day, and I lucked into going into that room in the first few minutes of the show. And I've been puzzled by it ever since, because I'm just head scratching. It shouldn't work. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even like horn compression drivers, you know, why, and this angled raw tweeter meter. I couldn't even imagine somebody making a speaker like the Ari Sarot speaker. But then I sit down and listen to it, and maybe because I have such low expectations, it's blowing me away. But each time I go in with higher expectations. And I even did an after hours today to go back again and again. I got to understand how the hell this thing actually works. Now, let's be realistic here. I'm not saying it's the best sound in the show. What I'm saying is it's the biggest surprise to me in the show. It is too big of a speaker for the room. And the presenter there, the distributor, kept talking about density, density, density. And it was a very dense presentation with the vocals. That is something that is unique. Part of that is because it's in a small room and it's a little bit bass heavy for that room, so that density is partly related to that. But as I paid attention to vocals and stuff like that, that I know sometimes will affect everything in the room, I can tell that that speaker in a bigger room, that density in a good way, it'd stay there, and the density in a bad way from the room boom would go away. And if you do go in that room, if you're here, you want to be in only the center position. Anything else, okay, pretty good. But that's where you hear the magic of how on earth all these weird drivers actually can pinpoint image and present a delicate, dense, full range sound that is perplexing still to me at this point. But now I've heard it enough times that in a big room, I am convinced now that it can give you that reference, cost no object, close to that performance. I'd like to hear a little bit more variety. When I've gone in, it ends up being some of the same songs I heard earlier. And yes, there has been some criticism of the guy running the room talking more than playing, but he's excited about what he's achieved in life. He's excited about the brand he represents. You got to okay, I understand some people, want everybody to be like they want them to be and get to the good stuff. I discount some of that criticism because I've gotten to know him and he's an A+ guy. So just give him the benefit of the doubt there. And I know a lot of wealthy people, sometimes people don't give them the benefit of the doubt when you're in that 0.1%. But this is a good guy. You can go in a lot of rooms where people aren't that wealthy, but they pretend like they are and they treat you like crap. He is very welcoming to everybody that comes into the room. But yeah, I understand he talks a lot about it and you want to hear the speaker. So, I'm going to go back, try to get some more tracks, hear if it can do a wider variety of stuff. Maybe I can get him to play Cardi B. You think so? I'll try. Anyway, that's still a head scratcher to me, but it is, the more I listen to it, a legitimate speaker. Not perfect in that room. You got to be in the center, but an ear opener and something you want to see if you're at this show, because it is just so different from everything else. Now, before I get too far, unfortunately I'm already into the video a while, I think the best part of today was the budget stuff I featured. Certainly at the end of the day, the project presentation that the guy gave me was A+. I mean, I went from, I'm not even a turntable guy, I don't even own a turntable. I know a lot of people have turntables, I know a lot of the issues. I could appreciate things that he was saying if you watch the presentation. And I was impressed at every point that I would bring up that at least I know are issues with things I've seen with turntables and friends and whatnot. Man, that project turntable at $2,500, and if you even get their top of the line $2,000 phono stage, I couldn't demo it sound wise there, but it checked every box that I was worried about in terms of what I would do if I'm buying a turntable and what they're providing you for the money. Man, I was very impressed with that. And then on the other side of the budget equation, man, the Audiokinesis room with that open baffle single driver box. I'm totally against single driver speakers, which again, Rhythm, I don't know if I uploaded this video. Rhythm impressed me, and that was one of the companies that I previously listed as one of the worst rooms I had ever heard. A single year, a Rhythm speaker that was set up was one of the worst I've ever heard of any room, period. I played that Judith Owens Conway Bay. Oh, it was unlistenable. But kudos to them, not because of my criticism, but that obviously they've been redesigning that speaker for a while. And what they've released now, the active version in this almost bookshelf version of the Rhythm speaker, man, for a budget system, amazing. But getting back to the Audiokinesis room, other than the $1 Atmosphere preamp, most of the stuff in there was very budget, especially the single driver, open baffle, box speaker, a voxative driver. You can make this yourself or buy it for like $400, the box already completed, and then buy the driver, stick it in there. You basically have no crossover. And then you can get Duke Lejeune, who I featured a little bit in this video, and he talked with us for a long time in the hallway. I didn't video all of that. I'll try to do a Zoom interview with him because his swarm method is definitely something. He knows a lot more about subwoofers than I do, and I try to give you guys tips, but he's to another level. And JR with Wally Tools, also I'm trying to get those on Zoom interviews and even down to Houston to share their knowledge with you and help you out in that level, because they know even more than me, and I trust their advice and can really help you as well. But Duke Lejeune Swarm bass module system worked really good in that room. Not perfect, but still, when you're talking about single driver speaker at that price point, we were all scratching our heads. This is so good. So it was a good day for budget systems, and I still haven't even gone to Salk Sound. ELAC room was super crowded today. A lot of the small rooms on a Saturday were too crowded, so we just pivoted to go to all the big rooms where there's a little more space and room. And I can't say any rooms disappointed me today, but other than, like I said, the macro criticism of volume and quality of music in some cases, especially 2 days ago. But otherwise, this has been an awesome show. Very valuable and fun. Can't say enough good things so far. So one more day to go. Sign up, subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to have a ton of stuff tomorrow. Feel free to give comments, feedback, and I'll see you back here soon.